everyone. It is Saturday afternoon on a cold, rainy day, and I thought I would do possibly a bit of a reading vlog this weekend. I don't plan on leaving the house, so I hope it's still interesting, but I honestly wanted you all to keep me accountable to help me read a lot. I have a 3-day weekend this weekend, and I plan on spending most of it inside, avoiding the cold and the snow and what's happening in the world, and just diving into some really good books. I am really close to the end of my physical book at the moment, and I have 3 separate arcs that have come in on NetGalley, so I really need to get to those. So here's my plan. I have just finished filming 2 videos to get me through to the end of the month. So I need to edit at least one of those this afternoon, so I'm gonna go do that. And then I'm hoping I can finish my physical book either before or after dinner, somewhere in that time frame. I do have 1 or 2 other chores I need to take care of. Then I plan on getting to those arcs. I think the first arc I'm going to read is A Lady Would Know Better by Emma Theriot? Am I pronouncing her name correctly? I'm not sure, but I think Emma Theriot, which looks very interesting. It looks to be a Victorian romance book about a woman who has amnesia for part of the story. So that should be interesting. I hope it's going to be as heartwarming as I hope it's going to be. From there, I'll probably get into Some Like It Scott, which is a new contemporary Scottish romance from Pepper Basham, who is also typically a Christian romance writer, and it's with the same publisher, so I would expect that. And then I have to decide which of my physical books I'm going to read next. At some point, I do have to tackle The Pretender by Jo Harkin. It does look incredibly complicated though, so we'll see how my brain feels towards the end of the weekend. But yeah, I thought I'd take you along and I'll check in with you in a bit. Good morning, everyone. It is Sunday morning. I was terrible about vlogging last night, but I did get some editing done, and I did finish The Clockwork Girl, which felt so much like a fever dream. I mean, I loved the feminist take that the ending took, but otherwise it felt like a fever dream, and that's about all I can say about it. But I also started the first of my arcs, which is A Lady Would Know Better, and I am so sucked in already. So in it, we follow the new Earl of this estate, and he was not meant to be the Earl. Jasper is the second son. But as we gather, this whole family has been through so much trauma that it's almost unbelievable. Almost. I mean, stranger things have happened. And it walks that line very, very well, such that you do really feel very sorry for this family. But their parents have both died. His older brother has died, which means he now has to figure out how to run the estate, how to look after his siblings. Some of them are still very young, so there are 2 brothers that we haven't met yet because they're still away at school. One of his sisters is widowed as well. Her husband was killed in a carriage accident, And this poor man's fiance has also died because she was a wonderful charitable person and through her charitable actions contracted scarlet fever. So the amount of trauma these people are dealing with is just horrific. But as they're walking to their mother's grave on her birthday to pay tribute to her, they discover this young woman who has apparently been thrown from her horse and is severely concussed. So they bring her home, they fetch a doctor, they take care of her, and she does survive. She's perfectly well. But because of her head trauma, she doesn't remember who she is. And that's about where we are. Our two main characters are obviously falling for each other. I'm really intrigued to see where this goes, but it is very trauma heavy though, so do be warned going into this. This isn't the light and fluffy historical romance that you might be looking for. So I will be reading that. I won't be able to film myself reading that because I film on my iPad and I read ARCs on my iPad. I haven't looked into a Kindle yet because based on the research I've done, it wouldn't necessarily work with my library apps or with NetGalley as well as with Kindle, and I don't want to be limited to the one source of ebook. If anyone has further insight as to other e-readers that allow you to do more than one thing, do let me know because I would be interested. But yes, I'm going to spend some time today reading. I also wanted to show off two other bookish Christmas gifts. One is this wonderful book cardigan from Joni, which I adore. It is so wonderfully warm. It fits incredibly well. There it is all the way down. And it has functional pockets, as well as my socks, which I'm going to try to get in the shot here, which say, F off, I'm reading, which is very fitting for today, I hope. And even better, on the inseam, please focus. Don't know if you can see, but on the inseam, there's a cat among the books, which is also perfect. So I will be reading and I'll check in a bit. Hello everyone, it is now Sunday night and once again vlogging has kind of escaped me. I did manage to get some short clips, but as I said, that is the problem with filming and reading ebooks on the same device. I did finish Lady Would Know Better and I really enjoyed it. I thought that the themes of grief were handled really well. I loved that the characters were had very open communication, and it felt very modern without it feeling like Emma Theriot was just throwing in modern tropes for the sake of being modern and revolutionary. It felt very plausible. So yeah, that was a lovely read, a lovely surprise. I'm about 15% of the way into Some Like It Scott by Pepper Basham. I'm not as sure about that one. It has a semi-Austenland feel to it, which I did not realize. Our main character is a travel writer who's been invited to Scotland to this manor house on the Isle of Mull, so we're now based in real locations, unlike the other Pepper Basham series that I read from. But this manor house is being used as an Edwardian sort of Downton Abbey tourist experience, but one that's being run quite badly, even worse than Austenland was being run. So perils galore. I'm not entirely sure what I think about it. I haven't really warmed to any of the characters yet, but it is still very early on, so I may do later. But yeah, I've just been in a strange headspace all day for a variety of reasons, but reading has helped a bit, and I hope that having the day off tomorrow helps a little bit more. I have also been wrapped in my Sense and Sensibility blanket all day, because our pellet stove has decided not to work just in time for deep freeze. So that's been fun. But yeah, I am now going to just finish my final glass of water and then talk myself into actually going upstairs and getting ready for bed and not sitting around doing a variety of things in the vein of revenge bedtime procrastination. It's been a really bad habit of mine lately. And tomorrow I might even do a try a chapter tag with you all, because I cannot decide on what the next physical book that I read should be off my stack. So I might end up doing that in the morning. But anyway, I will get myself ready and I'll check in later on. Good morning, everyone, and I don't want to leave the bed. It's too cold out there. I don't want to leave these covers. But I've got pretty much a plan for the day, I think. I think it's going to be a no makeup day, and I might even put some hair oil in, because my hair's been feeling a little bit thin lately. And I've got a good, compassionate yoga practice lined up, and I think that might help with all the emotions that came up yesterday. And I think I'll do the try a chapter first and then try and finish Some Like It Scott afterwards. In case you're wondering, it is going to get down to 2 degrees tonight, which I will put in centigrade somewhere at the bottom of the screen. So what it takes to stay warm on nights like this around here are this 13.5 tog duvet, this extra velour throw blanket, a whole body pillow over here, and not 1 but 2 heating pads. But it is in fact time to get up and start my day. So here we go.